Okay, question 2, the impressions question. Be aware the impressions questions can be question 3 or 4 and it can be worth 10 marks, but normally it is question 2 and it's worth 5 marks. So there will be 1 impressions question in the exam. It can be 2, 3 or 4 and it'll be worth 5 or 10 marks. Okay, so if it's a 5-mark question, you should be looking for 4 or 5 quotes in 5 or 6 minutes. If it's a 10-mark question, 7 to 10 quotes in 13 minutes. So why do we want a lot of quotes? This is the first question in the exam, really, where we have to give lots of quotes because we're doing PEs. And the main thing is you just get marks. The examiner says we want quotes. They want you to prove your opinions. You won't get any marks for any opinions you make in the exam if you don't back it up. These 2 people here, red and blue, similar students in terms of how good they are at English. However, the person on the right realised I need quotes. They got good exam technique. So the person on the left made lots of good points, but because they only used 1 quote, they can only get 1 out of 5. Person on the right made 6 quotes, so they got 5 out of 5. So pretty much try to think about it as if you make a quote and give an explanation, you're almost going to get a mark per quote. Impressions means a kind of view you might have of a place or a person when you read what is said about them. So for example, I might say someone is happy. If it said the quote was he was smiling ear to ear, I might put 1 impression I get is he was happy, as it said he was smiling ear to ear. So very simple explanation. So my first tip for this question would be look at the verbs and adjectives for help. And my tip 2 would be if the quote is obvious, there is no need to explain it. Just write it down into a sentence and move on. So for example, in a previous exam I've seen, it says, what impression do you get of the boy? And then it literally says the boy is selfish. So I put 1 impression I have of the boy is he is selfish. I don't need to explain it. It's a really easy quote. It's already been explained. So just put it in a sentence and you'll get a mark. So an example question and answer of this one could be, what impression do you get of Connell with the quote he stuttered over his speech? And I've put, I get the impression Connell is nervous with the quote stuttered. So I've got my link to my question because it's in the impression. I've got my impression, what I think of Connell, and then I've got my quote to back up my impression. This is Marianne's mum, who we don't meet in the extract, but is in normal people. Let's say, for example, the quote was, Denise tutted at Marianne when she saw the length of her skirt. Well, what opinion, what impression does that give me of Lorraine? Denise, sorry. I get the impression Marianne's mum is displeased with the length of Marianne's skirt, as it says she tutted when she saw it. Again, my link to my question, my quote, and there's my impression. So if someone tuts, they don't like something, they're annoyed or displeased with it, nice and simple. So the question for this exam extract is, what impression does the writer create of Gareth in these lines? So like I said, I'll try and do the video and pull it in there if possible. So basically, Connell has gone to a party where it's a very sort of posh party in Dublin at the posh university. Connell doesn't come from particularly wealthy background, hasn't got much money. So it's the first party he's been to at university. He's feeling quite nervous. And then we meet Gareth, who is someone from the university. So
Connell, good to see you, man. Good to see you.
Thanks,
yeah, how's it going?
Yeah, no, not too bad. How are you?
Nice backpack. Very 90s.
Thanks.
You know Jenny, right?
Yeah, I think we're in a seminar together.
Oh.
Well, let me get you a drink.
Have to.
Thank you.
What have we got here? Is beer okay for you?
Yeah, cheers. Thanks.
So you're not from Dublin then?
Sorry?
You're not from Dublin?
No, Sligo.
I can see that.
Yeah, my girlfriend's from Sligo, actually.
All right, well, there you go. Yeah, you live here, do you?
Yeah, it's not bad for campus accommodation.
Oh, it's lovely, yeah. Do you have your own room and that?
Yeah, gotcha.
You're not sharing, are you?
Oh, I am, yeah.
Oh, that's brutal, man.
Jesus. What do you do if you want to have a girl over?
Or a guy.
Yeah.
It hasn't really been an issue so far, so.
Hey, listen, there are some people I want to meet.
Yeah,
Come on, do you want to? See you later. Sorry, man. Down here somewhere. Great party, right?
Yeah.
Marianne, there's someone I want you to meet. This is Connell.
Oh, right.
Firstly, just as he decides to leave, Gareth comes in. Connell's intense relief at seeing Gareth triggers another wave of self-loathing, since he doesn't even know Gareth well or particularly like him. Gareth puts his hand out and desperately, bizarrely, Connell finds himself shaking it. It's a low moment in his adult life. People are watching them shake hands. Connell is certain of this. Good to see you, man, says Connell. Here's one of these annoying people who are involved in college societies. He went to one of the big wealthy schools in Dublin, and people are always greeting him on campus like, hey, Gareth, hey. They're greeting him across the room just to get him to wave hello. Connell has seen it. I like the backpack, very 90s, says Gareth. Connell was wearing a completely plain navy backpack with no features to distinguish it from any other of the numerous backpacks at the party. People in college are like this, unpleasantly smug one minute and then showing off their good manners the next. You're not from Dublin, are you, says Gareth. No, Sligo. Oh yeah, my girlfriend's from Sligo. Connell isn't sure what Gareth expects him to say to this. Oh, he replies weakly. Well, there you go. Awkwardly, he looks around and says, you live here, do you? Yeah, says Gareth. Not bad for campus accommodation, is it? No, yeah, it's really nice, actually. Whereabouts are you living yourself? Okay. So, pause it. See if you can come up with 4 or 5 opinions you have. And remember, you don't have to have 5 different opinions with 5 different quotes. If you find 2 opinions and find 5 quotes, then that'll be fine. So you don't have to have 5 different opinions, okay? Find the quotes that give you those opinions. So say, for example, you feel like Gareth is arrogant. Give me a quote to prove that he's arrogant. So, for example, I'll give you an example. One impression I have of Gareth is he comes from maybe a privileged background. Full stop. I get this impression from the quote, he went to one of those big wealthy schools. So pause the video. So here are the ones I've gone for. What impressions do I get? Gareth comes in Connell's intense relief. So that suggests to me that maybe what impressions do I create of Gareth? He's presented him in a positive light to start, because Connell's our main character. We like Connell in the extract. The idea that Connell's got a relief that he sees Gareth is probably gives a positive edge to the reader. However, that is contradicted straight away with he doesn't know him very well or particularly like him. He also refers to him as annoying. People are always greeting him. He compares him to other people who are unpleasantly smug at uni. And then you could argue when he's saying at the end, oh yeah, my girlfriend from Sligo, that probably paints him quite a positive light, where it's almost maybe the conversation's a bit awkward and he's trying to say things. He's trying to get on Connell's wavelength a little bit and give him something to talk about. So let's zoom into it. So what impressions do the writer create of Gareth in these lines? Remember, it's 5 marks. He is one of those annoying people. So tip from when I did this with my students in the mock is, this is a really simple quote, but don't repeat the quote in your answer. So what I mean by that is, don't put something like this. Another impression I get of Gareth is he's annoying, as he says he's one of those annoying people. You're not going to get marks if you literally just put what is in the quote. If you would have put, I get the impression Connell finds Gareth irritating, as he calls him annoying. I know it's pretty similar, but at least you're showing the examiner that you've picked up on the word annoying and you're showing the connotations. So again, with this question, I get the impression, I'm linking to my question, my opinion of Gareth is he's irritating, and I've backed it up with a quote. Here's another one. Connell doesn't particularly like him. So I then get a negative impression of Gareth, as Connell says he doesn't really like him. As the reader views Connell as an intelligent, level-headed character, we assume his judgment on Gareth to be sound. It says he went to one of those big wealthy schools. I get the impression Gareth is from a privileged background, as he comes from one of those big wealthy schools. Okay, a few more. The first impression I get of Gareth is that Connell was pleased to see him. Connell was going to leave the party before Gareth arrives, and Connell feels an intense relief when he sees him. Another impression I get of Gareth is that he's formal and old-fashioned. He bizarrely shakes Connell's hand, and Connell sees this as a low moment. So probably you would think in university, if you're thinking about yourself, 18 or 19, you go to a party, probably is quite an old-fashioned thing, isn't it, to shake someone's hand. And I put, finally, I get the impression he's popular around Trinity. People are always greeting him. They are all on first name terms with him and seem eager to get him to say hello. So if you zoom into that, always suggests it's not like occasionally someone will be dying to see him. It's almost like he's a celebrity there. Wherever we go, always 24/7, people want to say hello to him. So there you go. I've got, even though I've made 6 points, I've probably got 8 quotes. Each of them you'll see, I've got my yellow, which links to my question. I've got a green, which is my opinion. And very importantly, I've got my blue, which is my quote. Remember, I can make all the points I like. If I don't have a blue, if I don't have a quote to back it up, I'm going to get 0.